WHT, New York City. Welcome to Hot 97's Street Soldiers, the hottest talk on radio. Hosted by Lisa Evers.
I am so glad you're joining us for this episode of Street Soldiers on Black Athletes. I'm your host, Lisa Evers, on Twitter, at Lisa Evers, Instagram, at Lisa Evers Live, hashtag Black Athletes. Black athletes, both men and women, are dominating professional sports like never before. But is there still a double standard for measuring success? A double dose of criticism when they slip up in or out of the game? Give us a call now and let us know what you think at 1-800-223-9797. That's 1-800-223-9797. On Instagram, at Lisa Evers Live, Twitter, at Lisa Evers. Text all your people right now. Tell them to tune in, 97.1 here in New York City and the Tri-State. And to our live stream. We're on hot97.com around the United States on the live stream. And remember, you can hear us on your phone too. Just use the iHeartRadio or TuneIn app. You can listen to Street Soldiers anywhere you go, right on your phone. Now, we just witnessed the Super Bowl and are now at the beginning of the NBA's All-Star Week right here in New York. The spotlight is on sports, and especially the major contributions black athletes are making now, both in their game and in giving back to their communities. Disturbing cases like the Adrian Peterson spanking incident, Ray Rice's domestic violence issues got tons of attention. They dominated sports talk for weeks and weeks and weeks. We'll be discussing those. We'll touch on that. But what we really want to focus on in this episode of Street Soldiers are success stories, hashtag power moves. And we've got the perfect panel to do just that. We're going to find out what really makes a champion. What's the state of black athletes today? And, I was thinking about that movie 42 with Jackie Robinson, that whole story, and just to see what he had to go through just to get on the field and do what he did was incredible. And also the teammates and everybody that was around him, his family and his wife, Rachel. But where black athletes are now, dominating so many sports, the major endorsements, that's what we're talking about, the achievements, what it takes to get there, what it really takes to stay there. 1-800-223-9797. That's 1-800-223-9797. Hit me up on Twitter, at Lisa Evers, Instagram, at Lisa Evers Live. TJ's posting a picture right now from the studio behind the scenes. Joining us in studio, Rashad Jennings. He's a running back with the New York Giants. Rashad, thanks so much for being with us.
Thanks for having me on.
We really appreciate it. Also with us is Shayna Renee. She is the founder and editor-in-chief of allsportseverything.com. We love that. Lots of good coverage on women in sports, too. We're going to talk about that as well.
Thank you.
Thank you for being with us.
Happy to be here.
We're happy to have you. Also with us is Jerry Powell with basketballresults.net. He's doing a clinic during NBA All-Star Weekend, next weekend, for the youth in Brooklyn. He trains NBA players. That's his everyday job. Jerry, thanks so much for being with us.
Thanks for having me.
We really appreciate it. Also with us is Tehran Davenport. He's an NFL columnist with ProPlayerInsider.com and the Baltimore Times. Tehran, thank you so much for being with us.
It's a pleasure to be on.
We really appreciate it. And, of course, your telephone call is 1-800-223-9797. That's 1-800-223-9797. Tehran, let me start with you on this. You were just at the Super Bowl.
Yes. And
what struck you about that as you were behind the scenes? Because your whole website is about behind the scenes and what goes on there.
Really what struck me, I was out there to cover the Patriots, but I did have a lot of interaction with the Seahawks. And what really struck me was just the different personalities on the two teams, how they were totally different. One was more of a carefree, have fun type of mindset, whereas the Patriots, they had a more business-like mindset. So it was interesting to see the clash of the two and just to have the opportunity to interact with the guys. One of the things that I always love about talking to the guys in the league is, and Rashad, I'll tell you about his story later, every one of these players has a story. And each of these guys, they are a success story, and they're an example of how kids in the inner city or wherever can really look at how guys could overcome something and make something really excellent out of a bad situation. So that's what I love.
I love the success stories, too. And Rashad Jennings with the New York Giants, you're definitely one of the success stories. Tell us about what it was like for you growing up, because I heard the story in high school there you were overweight but still dreaming of the NFL, and you had some other issues to overcome as well.
Yeah, mine's, I laugh now a lot about the story, but I had a lot of humble beginnings. You know, I was a short, overweight kid with glasses and asthma. Had a .6 GPA average at one point in time, 270 pounds riding the bench, saying I want to play in the NFL. So now I get to say I've overcome a lot of giants to become a giant. So, you know, it's been a lot, you know, but one thing that I think that really clicked in me was, you know, I started taking ownership and responsibility. And the difficulties was, you know, I thought I was smarter than school. You know, it's kind of comical at the same time as how did this happen. Like, so I got a second to give you a quick story about how I had
we got time. We want to hear your story because it's very inspiring, and there's not a lot of guys that go through that, what you went through, and made that kind of dramatic transformation to the level of success you're at now.
All right, and
I want to know what happened.
I'm huge on education, so that's why, you know, a lot of people I talk to now say, how in the world do you have a .6? So a quick story. In high school, we had to do a research paper, and you could write about anybody you wanted to. And I wrote about my hero, which is Martin Luther King. And so when I'm doing a research paper on him, you know, you have to go through various sources and go to the library and find people that you want to quote, and kind of, you know, mark your words based upon them. Well, I couldn't find anybody to say exactly what I wanted them to say, so I got the bright idea to quote myself. So I wrote down some stuff. I put, quote, Rashad Jennings, and at the end we had to put it in CLA format, you know, cite all your sources. And at the end I put the source was Rashad Jennings, mine. And so I turned that in. I got my grade back. It was a big fat F. And so I asked the teacher, I said, why do I have an F? She said, Rashad, you got an F because you quoted yourself. And I asked her, this is that little chubby kid with the glasses. And
you're how old now? You're like 15?
Yeah, 15 years old. And I look up to her and I asked her, I said, Miss Hudson, why'd I get an F? She said, can't quote yourself. I said, is what I stated in, you know, the paper true? She said, yes. I said, is what I said relevant to the paper? She said, yes. I said, so why did I get an F? She said, because you're not a credible source. So I asked her, you telling me I got to wait 20-odd years to do something in this huge world to get enough people to say you're credible just to come back and say the exact same thing? Because truth doesn't change, right? So she laughed and said, yeah. So I get drafted later, Jacksonville Jaguars. I do a lot of public speaking. I'm always in schools, and I had a teacher who wanted to bring me in because they were doing a research paper on professional athletes. I spoke to that class. They quoted some of the things I said. They turned it in. They got an A. So I look.
So it was like full circle.
Yeah, I took that same piece of paper, ran right back to my high school.
Miss Hudson, was she still there?
I showed Miss Hudson, and she died laughing. But like it just go like the .6. That was the staple of who I was, and they said that I had a learning disability and so many other things. It was just that I was a thinker. You know, and I was always constantly challenging, and it wasn't until somebody came into my life, you know, my brother, and just really, you know, he never changed who I was. He just redirected my focus, and that was the trickle effect to kind of get me where I am today.
And I want to talk about. I want to bring in our other guests, but I want to talk about redirecting your focus and some of the changes you made. Shana Renee, allsportseverything.com, great website.
Thank you.
I really recommend everybody check it out.
Oh, thank you so much.
And great interviews too, and unusual takes on things. Love the one on our friend Amber Sabathia.
Yeah, she's a phenomenal woman. It was great talking with her.
So positive. What do you see as you look around? We see Serena Williams dominating tennis. I mean, these phenomenal black female athletes. Where do you see them right now in terms of how they're affecting sports?
Well, the Williams sisters in general are huge influencers, not just in, you know, the black sports world, but in sports in general. Serena Williams just won her 19th major last week in the Australian Open. She is at 19 right now and 3 away from tying Steffi Graf. And I think that her legacy is continuing. She's 33 years old, the oldest champion, ranked #1 right now. And I don't think we will see her slowing down anytime soon. I think that the media a lot of times likes to likes to criticize her because she has a lot of interest aside, outside of tennis. So they criticize.
So she doesn't
her.
fit the typical the tennis champion of the past.
Exactly, not in any way. Not from where she came from. Not in the makeup and the way that she looks, her body, and just in terms of like her pure dominance of the game. And then. You can't discredit her coming back from a life-threatening injury, which no one knew if she would ever be able to return to the game and then return to that elite level that we've known Serena to be. And she just continues to defy all the odds and defy all her critics.
And she really is a game changer.
Absolutely.
And so do you feel at this point for black female athletes that it's almost kind of outdated for us to even separate them from, and use that terminology? Should just be their successful championship athletes who happen to be black?
Well, I think so, but especially when she's dominated the sport for so long, and the only tennis athlete that people would like to see overtake Serena is Maria Sharapova, and Maria Sharapova hasn't been able to beat her in over a decade. So I think that it really takes a lot away from Serena to, just see her as this black athlete, because she is the face of tennis. She is the face of not only tennis, not only women's tennis, but tennis.
Right.
You know what I mean? So
absolutely,
because she's the most dominant force in the men's game or women's game, just as for the sport is concerned. So I think that for us to limit her and qualify her as a black athlete does not do her justice.
What about her spirit of competitiveness? I love tennis. I play tennis. Just that the way that she comes at the game, just that competitiveness, I think, to show that you can be a woman and have that, I think that's been a game changer too.
Absolutely, and I think that that's another way that people try to use that against her, and say, describe it as aggression, and I just, she's an athlete. Athletes have a certain level of killer instinct.
Win, right?
Exactly. And so I don't think that just because she's a woman, she should dilute herself or carry herself any differently. She's a champion. She's a beast, and I don't think that she should water that down just because mainstream media is uncomfortable with that.
Right, and the past tennis champions have been a different, just a whole different style.
Exactly.
Totally different style. Jerry Powell, you train NBA players. You've seen a lot of them. You've trained a lot of them that names we all know. In terms of who succeeds and who has a career and who really, makes it in the NBA, because we always keep hearing these numbers like so many, tens of thousands of guys are hoping to be in the NBA every year, and there's only like 400 spots, I guess, something like that. So who really makes it and who really stays in the game at the top of it?
The hungry players make it, because the hungrier you are, you won't stop until you make it. So a lot of players that are very hungry are the hungry players are the ones that make it, because they're willing to put the work in. And once you put the work in, it never stops. You know what I mean? As a kid, you try out for your team. You make the team. Now you're on the team, you want to be in the rotation. So you work to be in the rotation. Then you work to become a starter on the team. Then you work to become an all-star. Then you work to become an All-American. Then you work to become a Hall of Famer. It just doesn't stop. So people will pay for the degree of separation, and that's what keeps you there. Is
that hunger and is that drive?
Yes.
And always to be better and never getting comfortable and go, well, I'm here in the pros, I can just kind of kick back.
You can't do that, because once you get to the pros, everybody's good. So you have to do something once you get there to separate yourself.
And make yourself even better than everyone else. Tehran Davenport, ProPlayerInsider.com. When you were at the Super Bowl, you're talking about the different culture of the Seahawks and the Patriots. Patriots to me always seem like a machine. And tell me about that in terms of what you see of contributing to their success.
Really what contributes to their success is consistency. Whenever football, really, it's obviously a game of matchups, but the most important thing in football is to be consistent, to do the same thing every time, and for everybody to be on the same page. One of my articles that week was based off of the slot position and the timing in the offense. I had a really good conversation with Tom Brady about that, and talking to some of his receivers, Danny Amendola and also Julian Edelman. I talked to Gronk as well, Rob Gronkowski. But these two guys, Edelman and Amendola, these are smaller guys. They're my size, but they're dominating a game that is played by giants. And it's all about timing. The thing with them is the consistency. Tom Brady is going to throw a ball to a spot depending on the coverage, and they are always on the same page. So that's really the key thing.
Is the consistency.
Consistency, communication, being on the same page, and that's something that really that team has. I mean, week in and week out, you know what you're getting from them. Fortunately for Tom Brady, he didn't go against the Giants this year. Eli Manning is a Patriot slayer, so to speak.
Yeah, otherwise they would have lost.
Right. So that's really the thing. It's just Belichick, Josh McDaniels, that whole team. You know what you're going to get when they come out on the field, and that's really what it is.
And that's why they keep winning. Aside from that play at the last minute there.
Yeah, that was a crazy play. Crazy. I don't know how you have a guy like Marshawn Lynch and not run the ball. I mean, Rashad's a nice size running back. I'm sure that he would love to have the ball. What
do you think about that?
You asking a running back, so
right.
I think you run the ball all the time.
Just run theory, exactly. That's the whole point of it. 1-800-223-9797. That's 1-800-223-9797. We have Rashad Jennings at Rashad Jennings across all social media platforms. Running back for the New York Giants. We have Shayna Renee with allsportseverything.com. We've got basketballresults.net's own Jerry Powell, trainer to NBA stars, and also the kids. We love it that you're giving back to the kids like that. And Tehran Davenport, NFL columnist, pro player, insider.com, and the Baltimore Times. Your telephone calls at 1-800-223-9797. That's 1-800-223-9797. Rashad, I want to talk about your physical transformation, because you were talking about being overweight as a kid in high school, and that you took responsibility. So how did you go from being totally out of shape, wanting to be in the NFL, to where you are now?
Yeah, so you keep seeing me smile because I laugh at it every time I think about it. But I came in the house one day. My coach had just told me.
And you're how old now?
This 16.
Okay.
The coach just told me you never be good enough to play collegiate level running back. So I said, daggone it, that's enough. Walked in the house, stormed in the house, and my mom is so sweet. She's upstairs. She's cooking. Hey, Rashad. And I said, Mom, that's it. And she said, what are you talking about? I said, I got something got to change. And so I started doing a self-experiment at an uneducated version of myself with the whole food industry. And I remind people, food industry is made to make money. Food industry is not a food service. So if you take the time to read labels, you'll be surprised. Anyway, getting back to the story, I decided to do an experiment, and I took a hamburger from McDonald's. I put it out on the counter. I took a glass of milk, and I put it out on the counter. I took some cheese, put it out on the counter. Took some bread, put it on the counter. On the opposite side, I took a head of lettuce, I put it out on the counter. I took a piece of chicken, put it on the counter. I unpeeled a banana, put it out on the counter, and a glass of water. And I left it there for a couple of days. My mom's a neat freak, so she was flipping out, trying to figure out what I was doing. And I said, Mom, just give me a couple of days. I want to see something. Come back later. Everybody could probably assume what happened. The burger was hard and thick. The milk got really hard
Spoiled.
and thick. Yep. The cheese got hard and thick, and the bread did too.
And Mom's just freaking out about the smell in the kitchen.
That's it. On the opposite side, the lettuce started to deteriorate itself, the banana started to deteriorate itself, the chicken started to deteriorate itself, and the water held its liquid. So I asked myself the simple question, if all this is happening on the outside, I wonder what's going on the inside.
Ugh.
And so from that, I changed the way I was eating. The older I got, I realized I was chasing a gluten and casein-free diet, which I've been that way for the last 7 years of my life. And I started running. I would wake up every single day and run to the Y, which was 3 miles from my house. I would work out, I would train, I would run back home. That's all I did was lift weights, run, lift weights, run, lift weights, run, lift weights, run. And I wouldn't stop until I couldn't stop, and then I would do more. So I pushed my body to the limits. I pushed my mind to the limits. And, I changed everything about my physical nature.
And this is at 16, and then you got stronger and stronger. Then you started playing football in high school.
Yeah, so the coach. I never got a chance to play. I was a fifth string running back, and so we're playing against our high school rivalry, and it was a Tennessee scout that came to watch our starting running back, and he's watching the starting running back, and the very first play, the starter got hurt. They put in the second string guy. He get hurt 3 plays later. They put in a third string guy. He gets hurt. So I'm thinking,
wow,
all right, I might get a chance to play, right? So they ended up putting in the fourth string. He gets hurt.
Wow.
They ended up putting a wide receiver in instead of putting me in because they just did not want to play me.
They just didn't trust you. You didn't have the confidence.
I'm telling you. And then he got hurt. So long story short, they ended up putting me in. Out of 14 plays I played the whole game, on offense and defense, I ended up scoring 4 touchdowns. 2 on offense, 2 on defense.
What a great story.
And so that Tennessee scout came up to me after the game. He said, Rashad, I came to watch the starter, but I couldn't help to notice you. How were your grades? That's when I had to tell him I had a .6. And for
is that a 4.0 being that?
Yeah, not
just making sure there wasn't some other kind of like different grading system or something going on there.
And from there, it was the first time in my life that somebody outside of who's quote unquote supposed to support me saw some potential in me. And I got with my family and I transferred to a private school. I repeated my 11th grade year, and I got a new start. Nobody knew who Rashad was, the silly kid in class that, thought he was smarter than school, and it was refreshed, and I ended up.
You did like a total reboot at 16 or 17.
Mm-hmm.
And you just went to a different school with a different body, different mindset, and just started all over again.
Started all over.
And here you are.
I ended up taking 9 homeschool classes. I took summer school classes on top of what I had to take in the regular school courses, and worked my butt off and earned a scholarship to Pitt, transferred to Liberty, and now the road to the NFL.
And here you are. What do you eat now?
Yeah, I'm still a gluten and casein-free eater. Do everything organic if it's available.
So, what's breakfast for Rashad Jennings?
I have a routine. Out of 365 days out of the year, I have the same breakfast shake, probably 330. And it's delicious.
That's discipline.
Consistency.
The consistency is so good.
No Denny's Grand Slam.
Can't do it. Some people can, but I can't.
1-800-223-9797, 1-800-223-9797. Let's bring in Keon Carpenter right now. Keon, hi, you're on Hot 97. Thank you so much for calling in. Great to have you back.
Thanks for having me.
Okay, he's retired NFL player with a couple of different teams and been on with us before. And I know you've been doing a lot of great stuff with the kids. Tell us about what's going on with that.
Shutdown Academy is part of my nonprofit, and we pretty much have an after-school program with a sports component to it in the Baltimore area. Basically just to try to keep the kids off the street in a structured learning environment, giving them the tools that they need not only to be successful in athletics, but just to be successful in life.
That's so great. And in terms of what you see happening with the kids, tell me about the transformation you see after they've been in the program a little bit.
Well, they're starting to get the big picture. A lot of the kids in the inner city, they only see what they see every day in their neighborhoods, the poverty, the drugs. But when we kind of take them out of that environment, expose them to different things, give them some hope and some direction and some structure, they get excited about that. The kids want to do well; they just need to know how.
And in terms of the opportunities for kids, because we get advice on the show from some people say, sports is great, especially for the guys, for the boys in the inner city. It's a way for them to get out. And others say, you need that's great, but you also need to really focus on education as well. What's your take on that?
Well, education is first and foremost. I mean, we can't do anything without going to school and putting education first. That's why it's called student athlete. You got to be a student first before you can be an athlete. And you can't play sports forever. I played 8 years and had to retire due to injuries. But I had a degree from Virginia Virginia Tech, so that's what helped me, get into what I'm doing now. I didn't have to go back to school or do anything. I took care of my business when I was in there the first time. So education is very important. You can't do nothing without it.
And then if people want more information about what you're doing and what's going on with the programs and stuff, where can they find that?
They can go to shutdownacademy.org, or they can follow me on Twitter at Keon Carpenter, or at Instagram at CarpHouse29.
All right, Keon, thank you so much for being with us. We really appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
All right, thank you so much. Bye-bye. Okay, 1-800-223-9797. You guys ready for some phone calls? Got a lot of people calling in, and please feel free to jump in whenever you want.
Sure, it's a small world. I think he played football with my brother, and my brother played tight end at Virginia Tech.
Oh,
Rashad Jennings, yeah, I think he played with him.
Oh, wow. Okay, we'll give you Keon's number afterwards.
Yeah.
You guys can connect. Maybe family reunion there. All right, let's go to Ethan from Virginia right now. Ethan, hi, you're on Hot 97. Go right ahead. Oops. Thanks, TJ. Hey, Ethan, you're on. Ethan from Virginia. Sorry about that. I didn't press the button hard enough. TJ had to help me with that. You're on Hot 97. Go right ahead.
Oh, yes. Rashad, what's your rushing yard goal for this season?
Rushing yard goal. So
what does that mean? That's like your big goal.
Yeah, how many yards I want to end up rushing for. So I got this thing where I believe goals limit you.
Really?
So, yeah, because it puts a cap on what you're aiming at. So I just have checkpoints that I go through. I believe the reason why I say this, I know it sounds crazy, if you learn to fall in love with the process more than the outcome, I think you'll supersede it.
Oh, there it is. Jerry, what do you think about that idea?
I agree, totally.
Just fall in love with the process and not... Yeah, but don't you have to set some kind of goals?
I believe you have to set goals, because if you don't, you're just existing. You have to set some goals and chase them. But I also agree with Rashad too.
Is not to get fixated on a certain goal, because you might end up doing better than that. Yeah, but can't you say, like, listen, this week I want to do X, Y, or Z, and if something better, and if I can do better than that, great, but this is what I want to kind of do at the bare minimum.
Exactly.
Is that what you're talking about?
Exactly. And to me, those are checkpoints. The goal is to be the best. That's the goal. And the checkpoints to get there.
Because you have to give yourself something to measure, right? So you can be like, wow, this month I did better than last month, or this game I did better than that game, don't you?
To a degree, yeah. I mean,
don't just say yes because I'm the host.
Some things you can't control, though. I feel like you can't.
You're the one that's on the field.
Exactly.
Not me.
I can't control everything. You know what? I can't control the circumstances, players, rain. I can't control none of the situations I'm in, but I can control my attitude. I can control how I play, how I prepare, and all those things. And those are my checkpoints. Now, the goal, I'm not God.
All right, 1-800-223-9797. We're going to talk about personal responsibility. Has there ever been a champion in any sport that hasn't accepted full and complete and total responsibility for the career and what they do on that playing field or on the court? We're going to find out what our guests have to say about that. Alex, Tony, everyone else hanging on at 1-800-223-9797. We're going to get to your telephone calls. If you have any questions about sports, about what it takes to be a champion, we've got New York Giants running back Rashad Jennings with us here in studio. Shayna Renee from allsportseverything.com. Jerry Powell, he trains NBA players for basketballresults.net. Tehran Davenport, NFL columnist with ProPlayerInsider.com and the Baltimore Times. And your telephone calls 1-800-223-9797, or post your comments on our Instagram page at Lisa Evers Live, hashtag Black Athletes. And we'll be back right after I read this. TJ gave me that look. Whew. Okay, Snoop and Diddy, you know what's happening. Taking over New York, February 12th, All-Star Weekend inside the theater at Madison Square Garden. It's the tip-off, starring Puff Daddy. I always call them Puff. Snoop and friends. Log on to Ticketmaster.com to purchase your tickets. Hosted by Ebro in the morning with Funk Flex, DJ Enough, and DJ Camilo. You know that's going to be absolutely crazy. That is going to be the party of All-Star Week. Made hot for you by Del Russo, Laser Vision. I'm Lisa Evers at Lisa Evers. Back right after this.
Hot 97 celebrating Black History Month.
Ebro in the morning. We salute Kevin Donovan, a.k.a. Africa Bambaataa. Born in the South Bronx, Bambaataa, the Godfather. Really shine genre-defining electro tracks in the 1980s that influenced the development of the hip-hop culture.
Bambaataa began hosting hip-hop parties beginning in 1977.
He vowed to use hip-hop to draw angry kids out of gangs and form the Universal Zulu Nation.
Africa Bambaataa, we salute you.
Made hot by the BET Honors, hosted by Wayne Brady, Monday, February 23rd at 9 p.m.
Save big on hundreds of items for your home at Macy's Home Sale. Take 50 to 60% off our entire stock of comforters and pillows. Samsonite, Delsey, Travel Pro, and Ricardo luggage, 50% off plus a $50 mail-in Macy's gift card. Take 40% off all Charter Club Damask bedding. Your Choice Belgique 11-piece cookware sets, $129.99. Plus, purchase a red dress pin for $2 to benefit Go Red for Women and get an extra 15% off. Now at Macy's. Savings off regular sale and clearance prices. Exclusions apply, including electrics.
Jared is the place to go for diamond fashion jewelry this holiday. Jared, the Galleria of Jewelry, has an incredibly unique selection of diamond fashion designs in necklaces, earrings, and bracelets, including our jewelry brands, Neil Lane Designs and Heart's Desire. Or indulge your craving with Levion chocolate diamonds. Prices starting at $100 to over $10,000. Find a Jared store or shop anytime at jared.com.
Humans, gather round. Today is a new day with kids to inspire, rules to bend, jokes to tell, smiles to crack, songs to sing, and before all of that, rich, smooth McCafe coffee to love. Because starting your day with a little lovin' is always the right choice.
The best things begin with the little things. Love every day to the fullest with the smooth, rich, freshly brewed taste of McCafe coffee for just $1 in any size. Only at McDonald's. A la carte only. Prices and participation may vary. Limited time offer.
Oh, remember breakfast?
No, what's that?
Once upon a time, people ate food in the morning.
Before work?
Yes. They journeyed to a land with golden arches and had fresh eggs and bacon.
I think I remember bacon. Let's find these golden arches and have this breakfast.
On the way, I'll tell you about vacations.
My great uncle had one of those.
With McDonald's, the breakfast you love is always a reality. And now get 2 sausage McMuffin with egg sandwiches for just $3. See store for details. For a limited time, prices and participation may vary.
Do you know what kind of impression you make online? When you do a Google search for your name or business, do you like what you see? Do your search results make you look the way you want to be seen, or do they give you an ugly black eye? Negative online content, embarrassing pictures, videos, divorce and bankruptcy rulings? Newspaper articles, bad business reviews, blogs, and other sources can have a serious impact on your life and your business. Fortunately, Reputation.com can help. Take down this number, 1-800-948-6033. That's 1-800-948-6033. When you call, you'll get an expert reputation assessment free. Using patented technology, we'll make the truth about you more visible than negative online content you don't want others to see. Don't let bad search results damage your good name. Call 1-800-948-6033. That's 1-800-948-6033. Don't delay. Call 1-800-948-6033 today.
Hey, yo, hold up, it's your boy Diddy. And you know I run the city. Matter of fact, for one night and one night only, I'm going back to Puff Daddy, New York.
What y'all wanna do? Wanna be ballers, shot callers, brawlers. New York, make some noise! Hey, to the DDY, know you rather see me die than see me fly.
So New York, tri-state area, get ready. All-Star Weekend, me, your boy Puff Daddy, and Snoop Dogg are taking over the Madison Square Garden Theater.
I want y'all to help me sing this song right here.
When the pimp's in the crib, man, drop it like it's hot, drop it like it's hot, drop it like it's hot. It's the Hot 97 All-Star Weekend tip-off concert. We're setting the city on fire Thursday, February 12th. It's your boy Puff Daddy, Snoop Dogg, and friends. Man, come on, you know how I do when I hit that stage. And you know I'm gonna bring out all the All-Stars.
Hosted by me, Ebro, in the morning. Laura Styles and Rosenberg. Nessa's coming through with us. Camilo, DJ Enough, Funk Flex on the set.
It's Hot 97's All-Star tip-off concert. Get your VIP tickets now, Ticketmaster.
Brought to you by Beats by Dre and Hot 97.
Did you pay to do your taxes this year? Or did you not pay to do your taxes because you filed them for free on TurboTax and then you had some money to spend on something else, like a miniature train set, so you can give all your 2-inch tall friends a ride to a tiny post office or something? Anyhow, how you do your taxes is up to you, but if you want to pay absolute zero, then hop on TurboTax.com and file your taxes for free. Intuit TurboTax. It's amazing what you're capable of.
For simple U.S. returns only. Offer may end without notice. See offer details at TurboTax.com.
So, how's the New Year's resolution coming?
Awesome. I've been drinking more Aquafina and I feel great, but I'll feel even better when I'm soaking up the rays on Miami Beach.
Wish I could say the same. I got a little too ambitious with mine.
Weren't you cutting back on donuts?
Yes.
Is that a donut?
Maybe.
Just checking.
Visit Aquafina.com and resolve to refresh for a chance to win great prizes, including a 3-night trip to Miami. No purchase necessary. Visit Aquafina.com for official rules and details. Enter 12/29/14 through 2/22/15. Void where prohibited.
Did you know you could get an income tax credit of up to $1,000 for each one of your dependent children under the age of 17? It's just one of the credits available to parents. At Jackson Hewitt, we dig deeper and ask more of the right questions to find the credits and deductions you deserve and others miss. Jackson Hewitt, working hard for the hardest working.
What up? This is Trey Songz, and this is Street Soldiers with Lisa Evers. Real issues, real politics, real people, only on Hot 97.
All right, we are talking about sports. Welcome back to Hot 97 Street Soldiers. We just finished with the Super Bowl. This week kicks off NBA All-Star Week here in New York. This week I'm just looking at as kind of like a marathon. This is kind of like a Super Bowl week in Miami to me, where it's just going to be nonstop. You know, tons of people are going to be in town. There's going to be so much going on. You think you're going one place, and then there's going to be text messages and phone calls. You got to get over here. You need to be here, that kind of thing, and lots of fun. And, you know, we got the big concert February 12th with Diddy, Snoop, Ebro in the Morning, the whole crew. That's going to be nuts. Right now, we're focusing on sports, what it takes to be a success, what it takes to really be a champion, and just basically, you know, this is the kind of thing, this is the kind of show I really love to do, where we're just really getting advice and insight from our guests who have all different perspectives on this, on like how to succeed, how to do better, how to make yourself the best, and not just necessarily in sports, but I think I've always found like so many of these lessons from athletes that I have learned, that I've interviewed, I've really applied some of them to my life, and I just find that they're, you know, just to achieve something, you can really learn from somebody, even if it's in a totally different field. So let me shut up and introduce our panel here, because they got a lot more to say. Rashad Jennings, at Rashad Jennings across all social media platforms. He's a running back with the New York Giants. Shayna Renee, allsportseverything.com. Great website, and she's the founder and editor-in-chief, and they have a lot about women in sports, too, which kind of, I'm kind of feeling don't get as much attention as ladies deserve. Jerry Powell, basketballresults.net. Had to put that in there. All-Star, he's doing an All-Star event, basketball clinic for the kids. He trains a lot of NBA players. Tehran Davenport. He's an NFL columnist with ProPlayerInsider.com and Baltimore Times. And taking your calls, 1-800-223-9797. You guys ready? Let's go to let's go to Alex from Long Island. Alex, hi, you're on Hot 97. Go right ahead.
Hey, how are you? I'm just calling because my daughter has the pleasure of training with Jerry Powell. And I just want to say that things that he does should not go unnoticed in the community, because he not only trains on the court, but he teaches kids life values and life lessons off the court. When they come into the gym, he teaches kids how to shake people's hands, look them in the eye, and just be proper. And the lessons that he's teaching to the children, you know, should not be unnoticed. And he's a great influence and great impact in the communities, and I think we're blessed to have him.
Alex, that's so great. And what changes have you seen in your daughter from after she's been working with him in his classes?
Her mannerism and how she handles when she's in a game. She, you know, there's no tantrum, there's no fit. She's very, you know, cordial. She's shaking people's hands, and she's working so much harder on the court. You know, pushing herself to play really hard, and then off the court, she's just such a sweetheart. And I think it's definitely, you know, because of her interaction with Jerry Powell. So we're blessed to have him.
All right, great. Thank you so much, Alex, for the call. We got a lot of calls. Let's go to Tony from Staten Island. Tony, hi. You're on Hot 97. Go right ahead.
Yeah, I got a couple of questions for you, Rashad.
I'm going to give you one. I'm going to give you one because every phone line is blazing, and I want to try to be as fair to as many callers. So give me your best shot.
All right, cool. I had just a couple of questions to ask him about the Giants team and where are they going. You had mentioned that earlier. The Patriots were like champions and like machines. What did the Giants do this year? I watched every single game, and by the second or third quarter, I end up turning it off.
Man, you got to keep it on, man.
You got to keep it on, Tony.
With the remote?
Keep it on, bro. You guys, I was ashamed this year.
Okay, Tony, come on. All right. Tony, I understand how you feel, but you know you can't be a fair weather fan, right?
I'm with you, man. Look, the same frustration, and I appreciate that, man. I really do. We all do as Giants players and nation, because the same frustration you had, we did too. We expect more out of ourselves, and that's what you're gonna get this coming up year. We're excited to roll into the new offense. Hopefully, everybody comes back completely healthy. We're gonna add more depth across the board, and we're gonna get it right for you.
See, there it is. And you got to stay. You can't just turn off. You got to stay with your team.
Keep it on, man.
Yeah. You got to stay with your team, win or lose. Let's go to Rosalind from Memphis, Tennessee. Must be listening on that live stream on hot97.com.
Hi, I had a question for Shada Renee. I
Okay.
just wanted to ask, how are you inspired by the athletes like a Serena Williams that you cover on your blog to keep going as one of the few women in sports journalism?
All right. Good question. Thank you, Rosalind.
That is a good question. Just as any woman in sports and African-American women in sports, there are a lot of obstacles to overcome as one of the few females that cover sports. And I think that, I recognize that there needs to be a lot more representation of us. I mean, athletes are predominantly black, and a lot of the people who cover athletes are predominantly white males. And I think that, just as a woman and as a black woman, I have a responsibility to use my voice, use my platform to advocate on behalf of these athletes, just because I think that a lot of times they are unfairly represented and unfairly covered. So I see that as a blessing that I'm able to, contribute positively in a world where there's so much negative noise.
And created your own platform to do it.
Yes.
To do it your way by your rules.
Yes.
Which is also
that's really important to me also.
Tehran, I saw you shaking your head in agreement with what you were saying.
She makes an awesome point about the fact that anytime the negative noise, and me personally in my work, I will very rarely mention anything negative about a guy. I always focus on the positive. There's so many things that go on every week during the season. The guys have their community Tuesdays. On Mondays they do things. And me personally, my interaction with a lot of the Ravens, the team that I cover, Torrey Smith is a guy that has done so many things within the Baltimore community. And Steve Smith Sr., it goes on. And a lot of these things go unnoticed. But if Torrey Smith were to get a DUI this morning, everybody across the nation will know. But what they wouldn't know, and let me make it clear, he did not get a DUI. I want to be clear so nobody, misconstrues
something
what I'm
happened.
saying.
Right.
If something negative happens, it is blown up.
But isn't that the nature of the news too?
Well,
isn't that with all athletes? I mean, look at the. You don't think so? Like the Ben Roethlisberger, all that stuff?
For me personally, I think the guys that focus on the negative, those are the ones that aren't really good writers. If you're a
it's
good
easy
writer,
to do a negative story.
You could take something that these guys do and blow it up and still get those quote unquote clicks that you need in order to be productive.
I will agree with you as a television news reporter, as a journalist. I will totally agree with you. It's always easier to do the negative thing because the story is basically written for you.
Right.
Something happened,
exactly,
and there it is. As opposed to the positive things that you do on Pro Player Insider, which I recommend, another great website for people to check out. So many things behind the scenes, and we try to highlight what a lot of the players do off the field as well too.
And to add to that, I tell people media scientifically means bacteria. So
wait a minute.
And hold up now. So but now you can find good bacteria. You can find good ones.
But there's good bacteria and bad bacteria, right?
Exactly. But now I enjoy writing, and I'm writing a blog about the number next to the thumb. So it kind of elaborates on social media a little bit. So when it's done, I'm going to make sure I get it to you so you can blast it.
Yeah, definitely. All right, we have a lot of phone calls and a lot of questions here. Let's go to Michelle from Long Island. Michelle, hi, you're on Hot 97. Go right ahead.
Hi, Rashad. How are you?
Hey, how you doing?
Good, thank you. I was listening to you saying how you had a learning disability, but you succumbed it. How did you do it? How did you make that happen?
Okay, good question.
Is it modification, or is it with the help of tutoring?
Let's find out, Michelle. Thank you so much for the call. Rashad, what about because you said you had that 0.6, and you had to get the grades up in order to get the football thing going in college. So what did you do?
Yeah, I had to focus on it. I had to take more time. They kind of had me as a read and learning deficit. In the comprehension, so it just took me a little bit more time to comprehend exactly what I was reading. So that's really it. And getting with people who would take the time with me. I would stay after school with teachers. I would stay home extra with my parents. I would get my family involved. I became a reader. I would go to the library and just read. I would get on the internet and just read. And I had to practice at it just like anything else that I wanted to be successful at. So it's annoying because you want to be able to get that quick gratification, and especially as a kid. But for me, I really just had to slow down, take the time to read, and take the time to write. And it's funny because as soon as I went to college, I went to Pitt, and out of all the Fs that I got in high school, when I had the freedom and the time to write and kind of allow my thoughts on paper, I won Freshman Writer of the Year award. So that same kid that had that .6, had that capability of winning.
Who couldn't quote himself because he wasn't a credible source.
Was not a credible source. I'm still trying to figure out what that means a little bit to date.
So am I. But in the meantime, let's go to some phone calls. We have a lot of calls coming in for our panel from parents who have children who are athletes, who are in sports, and want some advice. Let's go to Raheem from New Jersey right now. Raheem, hi, you're on Hot 97. Go right ahead.
How you doing? My name is Raheem. I'm also a college and high school football player from New Jersey.
Okay.
And one of the good ways you keep your son or daughter in the right path of sports is putting them around the right people. Sometimes our kids listen to the wrong people in sports, and that's what makes them go the wrong way sometimes.
No, excellent point, Raheem. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for the call. Let's go to Daryl from Georgia, listening in on the live stream on hot97.com or the iHeartRadio or TuneIn app on his phone. Daryl, hi, you're on Hot 97. Go right ahead.
Yeah, how you doing? My name is Daryl. I've been a long-time friend of Jerry Powell. I live in Georgia now.
All right.
My question for him is, for my son, he knows my son, is it better for him to be the best player on a mediocre team or to be an average player on a great team, for exposure?
All right, I'm going to ask everyone on the panel to comment on this from what they've seen real quick. Thank you so much for the call, Daryl. Jerry, what about that?
I think with basketball, you should always put your kid on two teams for confidence reasons. One on a team where he's the best player, and one on a team where he's playing with players who's just as good as him. Because the confidence is very
important.
Very key.
Oh, that's a good point.
And without confidence, you need confidence just to function in life. You know what I mean? Because most males, and I tell these to my little kids, you're going to be a leader in your household one day. So at the end of the day, you got to have some type of confidence. You know what I mean? Because there's no zebras in life. There's only lions, tigers, and bears.
All right, there it is. Tehran, what about that in terms of what you see across the pro landscape? Is it better for players in terms of careers to be on championship teams, or better to be standouts going for an individual record, or does it vary by sport? I know it's a really big, broad question.
I think it does vary by sports, but being as though football is what I focus on, I'll say on the football side of things, I personally think that it's better to be a solid player on a good team, because so many things have to happen. For a running back to be able to break that long run, he needs to have that hole opened up, and then he needs that receiver
to the opportunity to begin with.
Block. It's a bunch of things.
Rashad, what do you think about that? From all the teams you've been on, from the high school, college level to now, what do you think about that issue?
Yeah, obviously everybody wants to be on a great team to win, but for a kid to get exposure, no matter what team you're on, he needs to dominate. And I could kind of rest assured that it's scouts' job to find those dominant and rough guys, and it's scouts' job to evaluate the tape. For myself, I went to a very small school, Lynchburg Christian Academy. I was pretty much the first guy to come out of that school and go somewhere. And I was founded by some scouts who, did their research, but I just kept working hard. So obviously, as a kid, I always tell kids that it's scouts' job to find those talents. So make sure you're busting your tail, and you're always going to be ready, and leave it up to the other guys to find you.
All right, let's take a telephone call. Let's go to Tony from Virginia right now. Tony, hi, you're on Hot 97. Go right ahead. Oh, Trey, I'm sorry. Trey, you're on Hot 97. Go right ahead.
I have a question.
Real quick.
What is it like playing under Tom Coughlin's system?
Okay.
Who's that? Trey?
All right, that's Trey.
What's up, Trey?
Trey. What's it like playing under Tom Coughlin's system? Real quick.
My man Trey. Tom Coughlin, man, he's a tremendous leader. I love the franchise, love the system, love the offense, and it's fun because we get to do everything we want from the playbook at the line of scrimmage. So it's going to be exciting next year, Trey.
And what do you say? We have some other we have Giants fans calling up that want to know. They want your take on. They want hope for the next season. That it's the Giants in the Super Bowl.
Is there? This is a very good team. You know, I'm going into my 7th year, and I can definitely say this is one of the most talented groups who've been around. It's just a matter of those who watched us through the course of the season understand we did some things well, but they were constantly being overshadowed by what we did not do so well. So when we clean up the self-inflicted wounds, which we're going to do, we're able to roll into OTAs in the same system, and nobody's trying to figure out where to line up. It's all about making plays now. You're going to see Giants football how it's supposed to be.
And Giants Super Bowl in the Super Bowl 2016.
That's what we're going for. That's a checkpoint.
Oh, checkpoint. That's right. No. All right. All right. And then, Shayna, just real quick, for parents with girls who are in sports, any quick advice for them from what you've seen?
I think that girls benefit from sports just as much as boys do. I think in general, sports is a great, in order to be successful, you have to be very disciplined. You have to be driven. I won't say driven by goals, but you have to be focused. And I think that, there's just so much, it teaches teamwork and leadership. So I think that there are so many, skills that are developed whether you're a girl or a boy. There's really no difference there.
All right, I want to thank all of our guests for being with us for this episode of Street Soldiers. You can hear the whole show if you're just tuning in now. You can hear the whole show immediately afterwards, free on our Street Soldiers audio on lisaevers.com. I want to thank Rashad Jennings at Rashad Jennings across all social media platforms. Shayna Renee at It's Shayna Renee. Her website is allsportseverything.com. Jerry Powell, basketballresults.net, trains NBA players and lots of kids and appreciative parents, it sounds like. Thanks for being with us. Tehran Davenport, NFL columnist, ProPlayerInsider.com. If you want to see what some of the players are doing off the field, they cover that as well, and some of the good things that they're doing. Make sure you check out ProPlayerInsider.com. And Tehran also writes for the Baltimore Times. So I want to thank all of you so much for being with us, and of course our friend Keon Carpenter and the good work he continues to do in Baltimore City with the kids over there. And I want to say a special. Okay, next Sunday, I want to announce, next Sunday is All-Star Weekend, is Valentine's Day weekend. We're going to be talking about some aspect of relationships. It may be polyamory. It may be whether or not, as you see on so many reality shows, it's okay to date someone or get into a relationship with somebody who's already married or living with somebody else. What do we think of that? And also true love. Is marriage out of date? Is there such a thing as a soulmate? Do you believe in that? That's what we're going to be talking about next week on Hot 97 Street Soldiers. So if you have an opinion on that, or you're in a situation, shout out to Fab. Hit me up, Lisa at hot97.com. That's Lisa at hot97.com. Hit up my executive producer, Tone, the number 4 real at gmail.com. Tone, the number 4 real at gmail.com. And I got to give a special happy birthday shout out to my little nephew, Evie, aka Evie All-Star, recovering from a very serious injury, doing great. And I know you're going to be a star back out there on that soccer field. So we love you so much, Ev. Special thanks to Cloud9 TV and the whole Money and Violence crew, everyone in Flatbush who showed me so much love on Flatbush Ave last week. That was crazy. You can check out the story, the whole video, my Fox 5 video on lisaevers.com. Shout to Mo and everyone out there. So in Brooklyn, thanks so much. Money and Violence blowing up big time in a good way. And shout out to ProjectPawn.com. They are working to teach the game of chess to kids. And their slogan is Minds Matters. If you want more information, they're holding an event this week. They're asking educators and community organizers interested in the program to contact Project Pawn. That's projectpawnnyc@gmail.com. And I got to thank everyone here at Hot 97, our general manager, Deanne Livingston, program director, Pio Farrow, music director, Titi Torres, digital director, Jeffrey Thacker, behind-the-scenes support, Lourdes Melendez, Pat Robinson, my Street Soldiers team, the one and only executive producer, Tone Capone, our board op, digital assistant, TJ, production assistants, the one and only Rose D. And we are actively looking for new interns and assistants. You must be at least 18, have good writing and communication skills, interested in broadcasting or journalism, and have good digital skills and people skills. If you're interested, hit up my executive producer, Tone Capone. Tone, the number 4, real, @gmail.com. On Twitter, you know how we do, at Lisa Evers, Instagram, at Lisa Evers Live, Google+, Lisa Evers. And, check out all our Street Soldiers episodes, latest Fox 5 videos, lisaevers.com. I'll be on Fox tonight, 6 and 10. And also, if you love hip-hop, we did the Money and Violence story last week. Wednesday night on the Fox 5 News at 10, I'm going to be bringing you a special street story or hip-hop story every single week right after Empire. Shout out to everyone on Empire for the huge rating success that they are having, making television history, period. Not for network TV, not for black TV, not for hip-hop TV, not for Fox, period. Have a great week, everybody. Remember, use your mind. It's your best weapon. I hope it's your only weapon. I'm Lisa Evers. Push for peace.
Get in the zone. AutoZone.
A reward like a pat on the back is nice, but $20 that can be used at AutoZone is